Do 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 do. You know, one of these days I'm gonna edit out these walk-in intros where I like walk in and piss away 6 seconds of your time, but medium format. Hey, good news. I've actually heard from every source imaginable that the medium format Fujifilm GFX 50R is just like sold out. Not one to be found anywhere. It's nowhere near as bad as the X-T2 was when it came out, but here's the interesting thing. Now that you actually bought that, and it's not expensive. You know, I'm pained to say expensive because it's $2,000 cheaper than a flagship 35mm. It's $15,000 cheaper than a Mamiya Leaf Credo, which is an ancient old camera with the exact same damn sensor in it. So it's actually not that expensive at all. But getting to the point, the good news after having bought either a GFX 50S or a GFX 50R, the really, really good news, and it's always been the case with film too, is that since medium format is not for sports and action, at least not hardcore sports and action, obviously so, and for hardcore wildlife, you don't really need more than 2 or 3 lenses. Most people don't need more than 2 lenses. I'd be happy with the GFX 50R with the 45mm 2.8 to 35mm field of view equivalent glued on there forever. I really wouldn't want it glued on there, but I would certainly be happy with that lens glued onto the camera. So you only need 2 or 3 lenses. Fewer lenses to own. You also don't need to buy expensive fast SD cards since you're not ripping them off, and even at 3 frames per second, you don't need fast SD cards like you do for the X-T3. The only thing you need are those 95 megabit per second SanDisk cards, which are really, really, really darn cheap. The slightly bad news, and this is a fact, and there's an article below, I've got the link below. It's on mediumformat.com. And everybody that uses and owns medium format, what it will do to you, and this is no exaggeration, it will spoil you rotten. You will look back on, now of course it doesn't have the capability for, like I said, hardcore sports and action, so you still need those cameras for that, but it will spoil you the hell rotten. You'll look back on your full frame cameras and go like, yeah, I don't really want to pick that up. If you do purposeful photography at all, it's street, art, macro, wildlife, architecture, landscape, countless things, you really will not want to pick up your 35 or your DX camera for the like, yeah, no, I'm going to grab the medium format. It will spoil the hell out of you. It really will. It'll also make you want to get a much better monitor. That's actually the same conclusion the guy that wrote this article, and the link below will tell you as well. It really will. It will spoil you. So be warned, you'll actually find that out very, very quickly. I picked up some new tethering cables for my GFX 50S and 50R. They're made by Tether Pro. I've had some short 8-foot cables, not really long enough, and they weren't real high-quality tethering cables, so I picked some of a couple cables up for the GFX 50. I can't believe I actually have 2 medium format digital cameras. I actually never thought there'd be a time that I would say something like that. But Fujifilm has made them so good and so inexpensive relative to everything else that, I mean, there are good sides. I mean, there's a lot of good sides, other than the obvious, which is ultimate image output relative to anything else. The only way you're actually going to get a better image, and it's a huge, insanely expensive, poorly made, slow as piss, but nobody can, talks about that as far as the Phase 1 goes. The only way you're going to get better image output is if you spend $50,000 on a Phase 1. I noticed that of anybody else that talks about medium format, and specifically meaning the GFX 50S and 50R, no one's kind of mentioned the fact that the only way you're going to get any damn better is if you spend $50,000. And the differences are not that great. It is a bigger sensor. We're talking about like 100, it depends on which Phase 1 it is. The 100 or 150 megapixel Phase 1, the images are obviously crotch-melting stunning. I mean, they are. But we're talking about $4,000 versus $50,000. That's about, I only paid $63,000 for this house I'm sitting in right now. The difference is not that drastic. It's just not. And I've seen the images from same. I'm not saying they're not absolutely amazing, but this is the reason why it will spoil you rotten. And of course, Fujifilm is coming out with 100 megapixel next year, but let's be realistic here. If you can't crucify it to the wall with medium format and 51 megapixels, and you sure as hell can't do it with 100 megapixel medium format. You can't. You can't do it with one, you sure as hell can't do it with the other one. Why doesn't anybody else mention that stuff? I got Fujifilm, probably wouldn't want me saying that. But those are the facts. Check out this article below on mediumformat.com. It's called 5 Unexpected Side Effects. They're not unexpected to me. It's the same issue that I encountered with medium format back in the days of film and large format. Once you start, and it's manual focus at 6-7 Pentax. I had a pair of those and 5 lenses. It's manual focus. It's huge. It's heavy. I mean, every time you press the shutter, the camera went ch-clunk. But the images were so stunning, it will literally make you almost hate everything else that you've been using. Like, it'll spoil you rotten. It's kind of like, you got a Lambo, like your dead uncle left you his Lamborghini, and you took a week driving it, and then when you get out of it, you're looking at your Toyota in your driveway, and you're going, I don't want to drive that piece of shit anymore. I want to drive the Lambo. Yeah. That's kind of like me and my BMW Z4 versus my Toyota. So anyway, thank you so much for watching, and check out the article. So the good news is you don't need but a couple lenses, and the SD cards are cheap, and it will slow you down. This is a good thing. Most people need to be slowed down. I need to be slowed down too, in other ways. Some people say I'm slow enough as it is. But thanks for watching, and wait for it, Fujifilm.